Hi, I'm Randy Robison. This is Life Today TV. Today I have Georgeanna Johnson, and if you recognize that name, it means you either go to Church on the Move, Pastor Willie George's church in the Tulsa area, or you're familiar with ABC's Extreme Weight Loss, because that's where she had quite an experience, and we're going to ask her about it right here. Thank you, Georgeanna.
Oh, so glad to be here.
So, all right, first question. How do you even get on this show?
The show does open casting calls around the country. They typically come to Oklahoma because, sadly, Oklahoma is not a very healthy state.
A lot of overweight people in
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
People in Oklahoma.
I lived there a few years, and I put on a few pounds while I was there.
There was actually, out of 16 people chosen this year, 3 of them were from Oklahoma, so that ought to tell you something. So I went to the open casting call, hundreds of people there across the country. There's thousands they're choosing from, and so I thought, you know, what are the odds that they'll actually choose me? But thankfully they did. It was a kind of an 8-week process of a lot of interviews, home videos, tons of paperwork.
Why you? What separated you from the rest of them?
I don't know. I liked it. Well, you know, I went in feeling, I did a little research before I went to the casting call. So we had about 90 seconds to pitch ourselves, and I knew that. I took an old cheerleading uniform with me just to show kind of how small I used to be, and just talked about being a mom and wife, and I think I was relatable during the casting process. I think I understood that each person throughout the season kind of has a role, and mine was to be kind of that typical mom that people could relate to. So I think that's why they chose me.
How hard is it to just admit I'm heavy enough to be on one of these shows?
Yeah, it was tough. You know, I weighed 315 pounds, so I was obviously I was big. I was a big person. I obviously had a weight problem, but when I first went to my husband and said, I think I'm gonna go to this casting call, he even said, are you big enough to do? Like,
Really?
You have to lose like half your body. There's no way you could lose half your body weight. Because I kept my weight a secret for so long, he really had no idea how much I weighed. I don't think men ever do, and it's not something they ask. Yes, no, they don't want to ask. It's never a good thing. So yeah, and I didn't even tell people I was trying out. It wasn't until I was almost on the show that I finally had to tell some friends, because they wanted me to get some friends together, and that's actually the day they showed up to tell me I made it. And as I told those friends, hey, I need you to come to this thing because I'm maybe going to do extreme weight loss, I got so many people saying, how are you going to do that show? You have to lose half your weight. But I was thinking I could easily lose half my weight. And I did. I ended up losing about 54% of my body weight.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow. So
crazy.
Give us a little behind the scenes. You go away to boot camp for 3 months? And...
You do. You know, Chris shows up and surprises you. That's kind of the thing. And people always say, how can you actually be surprised? There's television cameras there. You obviously know something's going on. We were down into the casting process enough that there was a small group of us left, and we were all told, we'll have a day in the life. We need to see, you know, how is your family on camera? Are you interesting on camera? What does your house look like? You know, so I truly thought it was a day in the life, because I knew that they'd been to someone's house and hadn't chosen them, and so I thought they really are just doing this, and so I wasn't expecting Chris to show up. But he did. I was thankful for that, and he said, and we're leaving for boot camp, and I really thought, oh, this is it. I'm leaving. We cried. My husband cried. I walked out with Chris, and I remember thinking, I don't have my purse. Like, my purse is still in there. And he said, well, we're actually not leaving right this second. But I did leave about 36 hours later. I was gone from July to October of last year, 3 months away from my family.
And your husband and daughters are just at home.
Just, hey, see you later.
And you talk to them? You call them on the phone every night?
I could call them and we could text, but there was no FaceTime or Skype, no photos. They didn't want them.
No visual.
No visual. Because I was losing weight pretty rapidly. I lost 94 pounds in the first 90 days, and so.
Is that healthy?
Yeah, I never felt like it was unhealthy. It wasn't. We were being monitored closely by doctors at the wellness center. They stayed on our blood work and were very much on top of what we were doing. I never ate less than 1,500 calories a day. The deficit comes in the working out. The extreme part is not really in how we're eating. The extreme is in the hours that we work out a day, which was typically about 5 hours of activity each day of boot camp.
What kind of activity?
2 hours of cardio first thing in the morning. So pretty much from 6 to 8, or sometimes earlier depending on the day's schedule, 6 to 8 or 7 to 9. We hiked or ran bleachers or just ran, walked. So yeah, 2 hours of cardio right off the top. And then we would be taken back to where we lived, and then we would walk a mile to CrossFit and do an hour of CrossFit, and then walk the mile home after that. So
Now, I've heard of friends that do that.
it's
tough,
intense.
right?
It's tough. It can all be modified. I still do CrossFit now. I love it. I actually teach it now, or coach. I don't know how you say it. It is intense, and going in, the group of us being completely out of shape, it was a little overwhelming at first, but we had great coaches, and everything was modified so that we could do it at the level that we could do it.
Yeah.
And then again in the afternoons, we had cardio fun time, it's called. It's a little less active cardio. We could swim at the wellness center or even sit in the hot tub. It's a little more restorative.
Okay.
As long as we were moving, it was fine. We just needed to be out of our rooms and not just sitting around all afternoon.
Now,
So,
okay, here's the thing. If I go work out hard like that, especially in the morning, go home, clean up, sit down,
tired.
I'm maybe tired, but I'm ready to eat. Right?
Yeah.
Because you
Yeah.
just burned off all those calories and you're ready, your body's like, hey, let's replace this
Hey,
right now.
Exactly.
How do you not just sit there
Well,
starving?
we
You
ate
know?
we ate 5 times a day, 300 calories 5 times a day, and it's still very similar to how I eat now. And so I never felt real hungry. We could eat as many vegetables as we wanted. I know that
Yeah.
doesn't sound exciting.
No, that's good.
But it's filling, and so there was a lot
Right.
of big salads, a lot of vegetables, some fruits. If you eat healthy carbs, they fill you up and help keep you fueled. We ate a protein with every meal, and so we're eating very healthy to keep our bodies fueled.
So you weren't just hungry all the
No,
time.
I wasn't hungry all the time. And you drink a ton of water. When you're losing weight, you drink about half your body weight. And even now, I drink about half my body weight every day in water, probably more than that. So at weighing 315 pounds, that's 160 ounces almost a day.
Oh, in ounces, not pounds to pounds.
No.
Pounds to ounces.
Pounds to ounces,
Okay.
half of your body weight in ounces. So it's a lot of water, and water is filling too.
Yeah.
And so between drinking all of the water, eating 5 times a day, there were not a lot of times that I felt deprived. I mean, it doesn't mean I didn't want a cookie or a donut or
Right.
crave popcorn,
Right. What about some of the, I mean, that's all great health stuff. And congratulations, I mean,
Yeah, thanks.
right? Yeah, anyway. I have a hard time getting motivated just to work out
Yeah.
every other day, right? So something
Yeah.
like that's just intense. Let me ask you about some of the personal connections. You're going through a life transformative kind of event where you're separated from your family and you're with these other people that are going through what you're going through.
Exactly.
Did you relate to some people there and
Oh,
build some
absolutely.
friendships?
Oh, sure. Most of us are still in touch. It is. It's kind of like this little brethren of us. You go through war together. It's not real war, but it was an experience. It's not something that is normal for most people. It wasn't normal for us. We very much bonded. I text and talk to a lot of them daily still. You can't help but go through it. And it was kind of freeing to go to a place where, for so long I was so ashamed about my weight and, didn't want people to know how much I weighed and felt kind of like I stood out in the crowd because I was bigger. But to go somewhere where, there's 15 people with you every day that are going through the same thing, you find that, I'm not alone in this. I've got, these people know what it's like. They understand. We probably looked odd as a group when we went to the mall and to Walmart here and there,
Yeah.
It was kind of a strange pack of large people. And the first time we went to the gym, I know we got looks. But it was very close to those people. I love them. You don't go through something like that and not build relationships with those people. Yeah.
So now you mentioned that you're a trainer, or are you certified,
Yeah.
or
Yeah, I'm coaching. I do a lot of what I did this year. CrossFit is pretty intense. We don't do the Olympic lifting in my class, which means we don't do like the big heavy bar, because it's more cardio based. It's the same stuff I did all year. Very intense. A lot of body weight movements. A lot of running and rowing. We do use barbells and kettlebells. Weight bearing exercises are great because it helps you lose fat without losing muscle. So you want to be able to keep that muscle there. Muscle burns fat. So.
do you have any friends, personal friends, that needed to lose weight that saw you? And
I've gotten so much response from women at church, women across the world. I mean, really, Australia, South Africa. I mean, all over, people have messaged me and emailed me and said, I felt like I was watching myself when I was watching your show. And there's several women in my class that are from my church that I'm friends with that I've helped, start their journey. They didn't need to lose as much as I do by any stretch, but just to want to feel healthier and feel confident in who they are. And so it's been awesome to be able to pay it forward and help women.
is there any kind of spiritual connection to our health?
I absolutely believe there is. Part of like my website name even is Fit as well, and I feel like being fit brings like an overall wellness to yourself. I think that your mind, body, your soul, it's all tied together. It's not three separate entities, and when one is not healthy, you're out of balance. And I think that getting fit and getting healthy for me changed my spiritual life. It made me realize how much time I'd spent thinking about the negative in my life rather than focusing on the good things that God had given me. And I think it allows me to be more confident, feel like I'm whom I'm supposed to be. I'm living a life that I feel like God called me to live instead of a life that is defeated and sad and lonely. In my own home, I felt, because I was so consumed with my weight. So I feel like being healthy and losing the weight has given me just a new lease on life in so many areas and not just physically. Yeah.
Wow. Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Check out Georgianna's website, fitiswell.com. Fitiswell.com on the screen. And are you speaking?
I am.
Other places?
I am. I'm speaking corporate churches, wherever. I'd love to speak to women. If people want to have me at their church, I would be more than glad to come and share the message of hope, and that people don't have to stay stuck where they are, that God can move in your life and you can be totally different than you thought you could be and live the life that God called you to.
Can't beat that. Check it out, fitaswell.com. And Georgianna, thank you for being with me. You can meet her husband as well if you'll watch the program on Life Today. Check that out at lifetoday.org.